还有人在那里游荡，人来人。Good morning. Oh, sorry. What is that? The seat belt. Pilipala. Alright, good morning. I am driving the brand new familiar Volvo XC90. Now a little bit of a background over here. The XC90 was the XC90 T8 plug-in hybrid was introduced in late 2015. Okay, and it arrived Malaysia market around that time, and not only that, it is also the first time where Sweden actually assembled, Volvo, the first overseas assembling facility is in Malaysia. Out of Sweden, it is only Malaysia. Of course, throughout the years, there's in China, there is America, etc. And then when it comes to the plug-in hybrid, their first assembly plant out of Sweden is also Malaysia. But of course now across the world, other regions have it as well. So when the XC90 T8 arrived here, it was pretty much a revelation, because we are receiving a car that in global markets are being sold for the same price as a Range Rover Sport. Okay, a Range Rover Sport back then, 10 years ago, in Malaysia is being sold at 800,000 ringgit, around there. All right, and in global markets, if you look at US, UK, and all that, right, the XC90 T8 is on par with the Range Rover Sport's selling price. But in Malaysia, because of a special deal, the 2-liter hybrid locally assembled car is technically tax-free. It is the Malaysian government's initiative to encourage Malaysians to encourage factories to move their hybrid assembly or EV assembly into Malaysia to enjoy the tariff-free benefits, so that they can cultivate a local manufacturer supplier network, right? High quality supplier network. So that is the government's strategy back then. So the XC90 T8 was one of the first, and hence Malaysians are super lucky that we are able to buy a Volvo XC90 T8 at 410 or 20,000, about thereabouts, okay, that time. So that was back in 2015, and a lot of people bought the XC90 T8 because the previous XC90 was also very much loved all over the world, because it was Volvo's first foray into an SUV, but they nailed it in their first try. 7-seater SUV, and that car is fantastic, and a lot of fans loved the car. And the second one was even better. So when the XC90 arrived, I fell in love immediately. First of all, I am those that want to see really quality car manufacturers survive, right? Over the years, you have like quality, like really passionate car makers like Saab, right? SAAB. Saab died in 2010 officially, but they were already dying their way towards there, and it is a pity. And of course, there are times when, of course, now those in dire would be like Alfa Romeo, Maserati. They are in extremely dire situation, and I don't like to see that. I want to see car makers like these succeed. And Volvo, throughout the years, they have been struggling, and then they were sold to Geely in 2009 or 2010, and Geely actually pumped in a lot of money to rejuvenate Volvo, and of course all this culminated in their first ever all new platform, the Spa platform. And the Spa platform emerged as a wonderful platform for this car, for the S90 and all that. And then after that, of course, they have the CMA platform or whatever platform. I can't remember all of them already, but all in all, Volvo is much healthier than they were. And when they came out with the XC90 T8 in 2015, I can totally feel, or you can totally feel, that it is their pride and joy. They put in so much effort. I remember I said this, I like seeing a tiny car maker put in 200% of their effort into something than a giant car maker put in 30% of their effort with planned obsolescence and then planned upgrades, planned everything, planned out to, you know, to reel in the customers, right? So in fact, I love the XC90 T8 so much. 2017, I bought one directly from Volvo, which is a media test drive unit. So media test drive unit, they retire it. They retire it after certain mileage. I think it was 20,000 mileage. And then I remember 20,000 km of journalist abusive mileage, all right? So I got that one. I was very happy. I love the car. It drives so well. The light steering wheel, composed chassis, and it's just overall such an enjoyable car to drive. Of course, that time I have my worries because wow, it's a brand new engine from Volvo. It not only has supercharging, it has turbocharging, and it's also a plug-in hybrid. The last round a car maker tried to do supercharge and turbocharge, they failed tremendously, right? They failed badly. The engine blocks crack and all that, you know, pistons got crooked. Anyway, that was back then. But when I heard Volvo is doing this, I was worried. But of course, after that, I realized Volvo, because they are small, they have no money, they developed the engine block to be shared with their diesel and their petrol. For those who know, diesel engines are high compression, extremely high compression, high load working environment. So diesel engines need to be ultra strong. So from the get-go, you have a block that is ultra strong to begin with. And then over the years, it's been 10 years now, since the debut of the XC90 T8, we've never heard much engine failure problems. There may be, you know, ERAD or battery or whatnot. You see, at the end of the day, right, we have to look at statistics. These are mass-produced cars, okay? So let's say if over the years they produce 1 million units, out of 1 million units, what is the probability of how many cars that had issues or had problems, right? So everything is back to statistics. You cannot say hearsay, oh, I have a friend, oh, I have a neighbor, oh, my colleague said that his uncle. All this is bullshit in the front of statistics. In front of statistics, if the ratio is low enough, it is considered a successful product. There are no perfect products, right? Harriers. I mean, what? Let's say statistics. The previous Toyota Harrier, how many of you changed your gearbox? How many of you overhauled your gearbox? The previous generation Velfire Alphas, how many of you changed your gearbox? How many of you changed your overhaul your gearbox, right? So at the end of the day, right, reliability of a brand is not the logo, it's individual models, right? And everything comes back to statistics. If the statistics says that it's not a major one, it is considered okay. All right, let's put that out of the discussion now. So what I want to say that is, over the past 10 years, Volvo's extremely complicated drivetrain seems to have struck a miracle, right? Usually when car makers embark on something new, something all out new, it's a recipe for disaster. But it seems like they did it. They really did it. I mean, it's reliable. a lot of owners have had their cars all right. I mean, of course, it incurs service and maintenance, right? And of course, things will fail. That dreaded ERAD motor, they will fail. Over time, they will fail, right? Anyway, 2017, I had mine. I don't have much issue with mine, except one time the turtle came up. I was like, the dreaded turtle is when there are interference or basically most of us did is we switch off our car, we lock it, we let it wait for 10-15 minutes after it reset the fault code, and then we restart our car. Seems like okay, then we just continue to drive, right? Because at the end of the day, it is complicated. I mean, look at our smartphone compared to a car. Which one is more complicated? But why we can accept, oh, my smartphone, something going on, let's restart it. I know car is life and death, right? Anyway, so 2017 I had mine. That was the early batch where I had the small fuel tank, small battery, and I remember my car doesn't have 360 camera. So in 2019, Volvo launched an updated XC90, slightly updated. The grille, I don't think the grille has changed, or has the grille changed ever so slightly? I think the grille changed a little bit, and then they have a larger battery, they have a larger fuel tank, they have leather wrapped headrests and a leather wrapped dashboard. Before this is a polyurethane dashboard, and then and I bought one. It is my first ever purchase of a brand new car. I have never bought a brand new car ever, but 2019 was my first ever time. Early 2019, I think it was in January or something. And because to me that time, because of the market, the XC90 was a really hot item back then. Resale value was extremely strong because the other side of it, the BMW X5s, the 2 liters, they were having a lot of issues. Their plug-in hybrid systems, a lot of their cars break down. A lot of them broke down. So the people avoided the X5s, you know, and dealers are giving huge discounts on the X5s. So the XC90 comparatively holding value really well. And of course, from a power spec perspective, the XC90 T8 is full spec, full to the brim, right? Panoramic roof, the Bowers and Wilkins sound system, the air suspension and all that. Air suspension, of course, will go over time. But at the time, it had a very strong resale value. So I sold my 2017 XC90 and I only top up like, I don't know, 60 or 70,000 from my used car selling price to buy the new one, because I was thinking 4 new tires, how much would they be already, right? And then the 360 camera system, the Bowers and Wilkins sound system, the bigger battery and all that, and then reversing my mileage from 40 over 1,000 back to zeroize it. And of course, that time they came out with a new color, the blue color, but I don't want people to know that I changed cars. So I ordered the same white color, which is the same color, which I like as well, but that time there was a new color, the blue is, which is, I think is this blue, which is pretty nice. Anyway, I got mine, the 2019 version, and family, the wife, everybody loves the car. Okay, so of course, those who know would knew, end of 2019, early 2020, I stumbled upon my dream car, which I will not be able to afford if I don't sell off my XC90. I'm not rich. I'm just someone trying to buy. I'm the equivalent of a school kid saving up his money for the best pair of Air Jordans. You know, I'm the equivalent of that. So that time I stumbled upon my dream car and I was like, shit, I need to try. I want to try. And eventually I have to sell my beloved XC90 in order to pursue my dream car. And that opportunity is not easy to coming by, because usually these kind of cars would need to be 10-year-old cash buy to reach that price, let alone the one that I stumbled upon was a 5-year-old car at 50% the market value. So I tried and eventually I got it, but sadly I had to let go of my XC90 T8, which is a lovely, lovely car. And then, sorry for the long storytelling, and back to this. So how does it feel? How does the drive feel? It feels just as good. It is just as familiar. The light but composed and accurate steering wheel with really good weight loading as you go through different speeds. See, the thing is this, cars, right, it's not just about the steering being heavy or light. I think Chinese car makers should I think they know, it takes time for their team to tune and slowly get used to it. It is about how, in terms of steering feel, right, in the world of electric power steering, you can't have a direct connection. There is no so-called steering feel. But when you turn your wheel and your car starts to sit on the outer side when you are negotiating a corner, different speeds, different camber, different point in time of turning the steering wheel should have a different loading to the steering wheel. And European car makers, most of the European car makers did it really well. There are differences between, okay, Toyota does them very, okay, Japanese cars are not bad in this as well now. Mazda, Toyotas, they all are really good at this. And to make a car feel good to drive, you have to judge the loading perfectly. There are cars that don't load nicely. That means no matter at what speeds that you turn the steering wheel, it feels exactly the same. And those cars don't give you confidence and feedback, alright? Anyway, one of the reasons there are so many XC90 owners, they bought their first one in 2015, and then in 2018 they bought their second one. After they look around, they check around, they try the X5, they don't like it, they try the GLE, they don't like it, they come back to the XC90, then they bought their second one. And then in 2021, they bought their third one. You see, that's another XC90. That's beautiful. Oh my god, the previous XC90 is beautiful. That is a facelifted one with the concave grille. Right. And I've known quite a few of people who is on their way to owning their third XC90s. Right? They just like it so much because it's so nice to drive. The drivetrain, there's not a lot of delay in daily driving, right? There's not a lot of delay. You press the throttle, the car moves immediately. Even if now I'm in charging mode, disabling the battery, burning petrol to charge the battery, it depletes. The response is immediate. I don't need to go sports mode or whatever. I know, I just lightly prod my throttle and it's immediately. It is totally in tune with my foot. I love it. That's one of the reasons why people love it. And if I switch off the forced charge mode, if I remain it in normal hybrid mode, it is even more responsive because the electric motor is helping the engine. But that alone, the engine, given that it has a supercharger, it totally beats those that only has a turbocharger. It just feels so good to drive. Now, comes back to the engine. Does it feel rough? Yes, it feels just as rough as day one. This 2-liter engine, amongst a sea of European 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, Volvo's is the roughest. You can totally feel it. You can call it character. You know those days with a 4-port Italian engine, when you throttle them, they have that, which is nice, but this one is a bit rougher. Yeah, you just, yeah, it's just, okay, the early generation BMW F30, you know, the, what do you call that, N20 engines, and the, what is it called, N20, yeah, it's called N20, yeah, those engines are rough, yeah, they are not better. Even at idle, they have that. Okay, those are rougher. But they are more fuel efficient than Volvo's. Volvo's 2-liter turbo is not the most fuel efficient. All right. I think they optimize it to make sure that there is no delay in power, and because it is assisted by the hybrid, if everybody goes home to charge, then probably it will save a lot of petrol, because in Europe, anybody who can afford an XC90, a premium car like this, or a big car like this, are very likely landed homeowners, because in Europe, in their cities, most of the apartments don't come with the luxury of having such great parking facilities like ours do here. Like right in Malaysia, a high rise like that, the law says 2 parking, right? If you go to Australia, you go to UK, you go to a lot of European countries, right, it will be only luxury condos, like really expensive luxury apartments where they come with their own basement parkings that are pretty tight. And a lot of residents who stay in high rise, they don't have parking. The high rise building at the ground floor is just a lobby door, and then you go in and then you go up. That's it. They have to rent parking spaces nearby or garages to park their cars there. They have to come downstairs, take a taxi or take a bus or take a Uber to their garage to retrieve their car to drive. That's how they work over there. But in Malaysia, of course, all of us have proper parkings, but not all of us have charging. So I guess, yeah, in Europe, those people who buy these are very likely landed homeowners who can afford to install a charger and all that. If you install a charger, it will be brilliant, because now the updated one, this one, technically on paper they say it can go up to 60-70 kilometers on the battery alone. Take that with a pinch of salt, huge pinch of salt. All right, usually when the rated is 70, you can expect max 50. All right, why? Because look at this, we're going uphill. Do you expect a car to use the same amount of energy going uphill versus flat surface, right? Those are generally on flat surfaces. Even when you cycle, right, going up this hill is crazy compared to a flat surface. All right, so get that out of the way. The batteries are way larger now. Back then, my first one, the 2017 one, I think I get what, 11 km out of my battery, and then the 2019 one I can get 18 or 19 out of my battery, or 20, 21, 22. Yeah, that's about it. But these new ones, they are way larger, and probably they have improved their software and all that. They are way more efficient. So the rated one, they can go 67. Is it 60, 70, or is it 50? Doesn't matter. But basically, if you fully charge your battery, you can actually go full EV to office, and then full EV from office back home. That's it, right? Assuming you're the boss now, you're not a salesman, right? No salesman should buy a 430,000 car to do sales, right? It's wasted. Anyway, so what are the differences? It drives just as well. Interior has been updated. The old XC90, my biggest gripe is that the aircon vents don't look as sexy as those in the S90 and the V60 and the S60 and the XC60, right? The aircon vents. These are beautiful. These aircraft turbine looking like aircon vents. They are the patents of Jonathan Disley, one of the Volvo designers in Volvo, and he loaned the patent. He actually licensed his own patent to Volvo to use this beautiful design, and I think they look great, right? So the new XC90 dashboard, architecture wise, is largely the same, but they have changed this part so that they can house these beautiful aircon vents compared to those old school type. You know, the old screen looks like some ET face with an ear, so that one isn't as good looking as this. And now this one is a bit more flamboyant, but I think it still retains that Swedish feel. Very nice, understated design. Alright, the wood inlays are just as nice. Of course, I like the old one where the wood is a chunk over here compared to those veneer, a thin veneer on top. Volvo actually put a chunk of wood. You can see the depth of it. You know, it's a whole chunk here. I like that so much. But now it's just some regular some regular textile material over here. Yeah, it's no longer that special, right? Yeah, and then I think the old one, this part can also be spec in wood as well. I think that one feels really nice to the touch, right? This one is alright, but nothing special compared to that. Alright, dashboard, nothing much change. It's digital, but you can't do much with it. You really can't do much with it. There's not a lot of stuff, but everything that is needed is there. So I guess it's alright, but is it the best? No, definitely not. Alright, but it's actually clear enough. But I wish they show more information. You see, a lot of people confuse that, oh, I bought a plug-in hybrid. It has a large battery. I will never run out of battery. I will never run out of this issue, run into this issue. No, you have your 48 volt hybrid battery. You also have your 12 volt battery, and if the 12 volt battery dies out, it will shut down your car. A lot of issues would happen. Now, given that this is a digital speedo cluster, right? Given that this car warns you about blind spot warning, about all these things, right? Why doesn't the car has an indicator that shows you the 12 volt battery's health status? Even better, if there is a notification, I'm not sure if there is, even better if there is a notification that tells you your 12 volt battery is due for change, you know. Maybe if you periodically go back to the dealer should be able to check that, but you wouldn't know battery, this kind of stuff, right? Sometimes they deplete, you don't know why. So I would appreciate if this speedo cluster can show more information about the car as I'm driving. As I'm driving, I would love to know my tire pressure on each wheel. I want it to be shown here all the time, my tire pressure. BYD does that, it's always shown there. I think that's a very, very good thing. And my old 1997 Audi actually shows my 12 volt battery health on my cluster, but new Audis don't do that. There's not even a way to access the infotainment to see my 12 volt battery health. I do not know why car makers do that. I think as media person, we should pressure them to do this. The 12 volt battery is crucial. The radiator's water level is crucial. These two things should always be shown on our dashboard, letting us know whether we have enough water, temperature as well. I mean, yeah, you show me the outside temperature, but for what? Right? Like BMW, they show you their engine oil temperature all the time. Audi shows us our water coolant temperature all the time. I think the oil cooler and the water temperature and the water level and the oil level and the tire pressure should always be accessible, right? What's the point of showing us our average fuel consumption? That's the dumbest thing, because average fuel consumption is a fact that I can't change, right? And it doesn't affect the safety of my operation of my vehicle. It doesn't. But I want car, you know, like how cars like to show your average speed, your average fuel consumption, your total travel mileage. Yeah, that's the odometer, that's important, right? But that one is not crucial for daily use, right? But what is crucial for daily use is our tire pressure monitor all the time. I want to see that. I want to see my water level, water temperature, oil level, oil temperature, and 12 volt battery health. Okay, car makers, please. All right, not enough information. I don't need to know my average fuel consumption. Okay, I can probably, if I access here, I can see it. Okay, fine. All right. The changes is now they have this tablet thing that they sort of poke out onto the screen. You know, this looks like what? It looks like those shops where you go in there and then they sell those Android tablets, but they don't remove your old tablet because your old screen, the housing is small. So they have this thing that slaps on top of it, replaces it. Yeah, it sort of looks like that. Okay, so do I don't like it? Nah, I'm fine with it. But given that this part is blacked out, this part is blacked out, so basically the screen areas. The funny thing is, the jutting out part, the part where this thing juts out, the part where it juts out is the blackout area. If it is a frameless screen that shows what it needs to show, and if it is frameless, like the latest state-of-the-art frameless thin screen from China, I think I will have the same viewing area without jutting out. That's interesting. All right. Yeah. See, it juts out this much, and the frame is the same height. Same goes with this. It overlaps onto the aircon vent this much. It juts out under here this much. So that's pretty interesting. Okay. Now, how's the usage experience of this? It is certainly easy, but I think I still prefer the old sensors. The sensors is laggy and slow, but this one is not laggy, but it's not the snappiest either compared to those in Zeekr. That's the funny thing. Zeekr is of the same group. You see? Okay. There we go. Right. Just slightly, it doesn't hinder your usage. Okay. Then a while, then only it comes in. Okay. See? So this Google system, I think, is easy to use, but it sort of make you feel like, is there a lot more things that are being hidden from us? Right? So you go into drive modes. Yeah. The quick stuffs are here: charging, power, hybrid, pure, and all that. And settings. There we go. And then you come to this screen. Alright. Okay, a lot of stuff they don't allow you to do because you're driving. They want you to focus on your driving, but at least they don't lock your screen and all that. Oh, okay. Okay. Then keep it and all that is here. One thing I saw coming back is the ability to control the seat. You know, in the old system, right, just one swipe, press one button, I can use my driver's side seat controls to control the passenger seat, to move it. Now, this process is go here, go settings, go controls, and then scroll, view all, adjust passenger seat. Yeah, then only I get to adjust the passenger seat. Yeah, so I know it's not something that we use often, but the old Volvo sensor system, right, is, I love it. Top part is your navigation. You press, it expands. All right, you press the home button, it goes back into that 4 squadrons, and then you have your music, and then you have your last access thing, and then your aircon is permanently down here. I love that. And then one swipe, it's all buttons. You can see a lot of buttons, but trust me, once you get used to it, all of them are on-off switches. The on-off switches of everything is there, and then you can arrange them. So it's a single page. You don't need to access and access. You don't have apps to access. But of course, given that this is now Android based, it's Google based, there are a lot more possibilities of downloading the apps and all that. But the funny thing is, I don't see Apple CarPlay, which makes sense because this is a Google system. You don't need an Android Auto, right? But somehow, I don't know. I plug my phone, I plug it into the port that is supposed to be data transfer as well. It doesn't hook up my phone. I still need to pair Bluetooth. My phone is an Android phone, so I do not know what's up, but at least you can watch YouTube, okay? So I can actually turn on, okay, it has LTE already. And yeah, it's straightforward, easy. What I appreciate most, of course, is Google Maps, okay? That's another thing as well. You see, the aircon panels are permanent here, alright? And then here there are 4 shortcut buttons of other stuffs that are permanently here as well. The drive modes, the camera, Google Assistant, radio, and Apple CarPlay. And then these 2 things, which I think shouldn't be permanently here. You see, is if I unhook my phone, these 2 giant panels says connect phone, connect media, but it's permanently there. Half the screen is taken up permanently by this whole thing. This is crucial. This is okay because it's only one screen away, right? But it's permanently here. But this two thing is huge. It's huge. Anyway, and then when I use my map, there's no way for me to maximize the whole map. So technically, a tablet that is portrait mode is, according to a lot of logic sensors, that is better for viewing maps. But when your portrait screen is taken up half by stuffs that are permanently there, your map is horizontal, 3x4. Our standard old school photograph format. And this is the Google interface. Look at this giant thing here, search and all that, right? That means my available viewing, directional viewing is here. Is only here. So yeah, okay, let's go home. I'll show you the navigation. Okay, now I'm navigating. Alright? Dismiss. See? See? This. I get this. So it's not, you know how screens are portrait? Because in full screen map mode, you can see your car here, and then you can see the road ahead, much further ahead compared to this. Alright? So it's pretty interesting. But in terms of usability, it's super easy lah. Huh? It's Google. It's the easiest. It's the best. No other car has Google Maps by default in their cars. Of course, you have your Android Auto and all that, but no other cars have it by default. And I've been using the car for 2 days without even hooking up my phone. And immediately I got up, I can search the places I need to go. Alright? What else to talk about? I have some shortcut keys. I mean, actual physical keys over here, buttons over here, which I appreciate. They have removed the drive mode selector. Last time there's a jog dial for drive mode selector, which looks cool, but not much of actual usage. No paddle shifters here, even though at times Volvo will add paddle shifters into the XC60. Same steering wheel as the old one. The car feels the same when you go into force. Okay, I think force charge mode in this new one is slightly quieter, but it's nowhere as smooth, as quiet as the J-Cool J7P have. Right, that one is just pretty amazing. That one doesn't sound like that when you accelerate. You do not know when does the engine work. That one just automatically charges battery back to 20-30% very quickly, and then the drive is always smooth. You can't hear the engine. This one you can definitely hear the engine. It's rough when you are force charging it, and the rest of it is very nice. The seats are nice, the car is comfortable, suspension is good, build quality is exceptional. Volvo now makes the best interior quality. Okay, no lah. BMWs are very, very good as well, but they have so much cheap stuffs over here. Even in the 8 Series, they have their cheap stuffs over here. So and then they don't even care about molding a dashboard anymore. They just put a long screen over and call it a day off. They don't even need to entertain you with their inlays and all that anymore when they have the long screen, right? Just covers everything up and calls it a day off. Mercedes-Benz looks good, built like squeaky. Audi, you can feel the cost cutting. So now I think amongst premium cars, Volvo and Lexus makes the most highest quality cars. But that's another thing. I think this wood veneer, the old one is thick, right? You can hear a solid tok tok tok. This one obviously is a veneer, and below is plastic, so you can hear that hollowness. You can hear it on the doors and on here. Yeah, it's not that kind of solid sounding knocking, but see, but knocking doesn't do much for your car lah. It's not like gives you a much better riding experience if it knocks solid, more solid. So yeah, it is still a very good looking interior. Oh, the USB ports, they are in this time and age. See, these are the things that I wish they improve, right? The USB ports, the charge rates are too slow. It is slow. it is not able to charge up my stuffs meaningfully. If anything is running, it will only deplete slower, just like the old XC90. And the wireless charger as well is not fast enough. I've been trying it for 2 days, it's not fast enough. You look at BYD, they give you a 50 watt wireless charger, a meaningful wireless charger with a ventilation fan over there. This one doesn't have a ventilation fan, and yeah, that's a pity. Yeah, the power is not enough in the USB ports. All right, the rest is exactly the same as the previous XC90. Nice, one word, nice. So for 430,000, is this car still a good buy? Yeah, because it's still technically pretty much tax-free. If not, this car will be 700,000 ringgit. Yeah, look at the price of a Range Rover Sport in Malaysia, and then look at their prices in overseas markets. That's where the XC90 T8 should be priced at. Yeah, expensive. This is supposed to be an expensive car. It is not supposed to be around the price of a you know, BMW X5. It's not. In global markets, it's priced much higher. All right, so that's the XC90. I guess you all saw how it looks in front. Very, very refreshing. I love the grille, but every time I saw the pre-facelift, the previous XC90, I still think that one, in long term, that design will outlast this one. But if you ask me which one would I buy now, I will buy this one, yes, but that one is still so good looking. But if there is a discount on that one, like this one is 430,000 now, that means over the past 10 years, not much of a price increase. If that one is being offered to me at, let's say, this is 430, if that one is offered as 350, probably I will buy that one, because it still looks so good. It still looks so good. It drives the same, yada yada, you know. Yeah. Okay. That's the XC90 T8. I still love this car. I still love it. I love the buttons. Feels nice. Yeah, the rest, not much of changes. All the way to the back, not much of changes. I mean, the things that I wish I wish they could have changed is, of course, small stuffs like the USB ports, the wireless charger. Come on, man! It's a new architecture here, new thing over here. Why can't you put a more high-powered one? And what else? The speedo cluster. I wish they would have added. Wow, look at that! So beautiful. How many have I seen on the roads, man? Every day. It is just so popular because it is that good of a car. It is such a good car. All right. And of course, Volvo's reputation. You know you're safe in a Volvo. Very, very safe. You know you can. Yeah, man. I mean, my kids, next time when they drive, I'll definitely let them drive a Volvo, man. When they are new car owners. Okay? Too much of babbling. Yeah, one button. Adaptive cruise control. One button. And the day I test drive the Audi Q8 e-tron, it is an e-tron. Why does it have a cruise control stock that comes from those old ICE cars? The set, reset, cancel, plus, minus, that crazy stock. Ah, I hate that. We're living in an age whereby you just one button. One button. Right. Okay, now the car drives itself. Duh. Okay, motorcycle coming. I pull myself to the right a little bit. See, the car doesn't fight with me. It doesn't fight with me. I love it. Alright. I still love Volvo's adaptive cruise control, but now there are new ones. Like this one, I still need to set the distance, further, nearer. Now there are new ones where they detect the car and they use the car's regen to alter the distance parameters at different speeds with the car in front. BMW is doing that with Mini and all that. And I think that's very smart, and I think that is a great way to regenerate power into the car, right? A very aggressive regen mode when you are nearer to the car in front, as opposed when you are further, right? That will help you dynamically adjust your distance while also achieve the maximum regeneration of kinetic momentum into electric power. Okay? All right. Bye. Yep. The front is a lot more modern now. What I like is the single piece bonnet. The modern bonnet now actually folds down and covers the top part of the grille. The previous grille actually eats up to the bonnet. So I think this is a much cleaner design, much more modern design. And this alone qualifies this being called as the new XC90, I guess, because the interior is different, the front is different, the rear is still the same, even though there is a dark tint to the tail lights. Right? If they added more improvements, would be nice, such as moving the wipers to this part, and then probably letting us opening the glass of the boot lid cover. If you can just independently open the glass, just like X5s, old X5s, new ones I don't think they can do this. That would be nice. And yeah, overall it's a proven platform. It's been a while this platform is out. It's still competitive, it's still good looking, still nice to drive. What a looker, right? So tell me, do you prefer this new design? I think everybody would prefer this new design, right? The wider grille, and I love what Volvo did here with the design. Again, like I said, they turned something that was asymmetrical to symmetrical, because inherently Volvo's logo with the arrow is asymmetrical, but by doing it in this design, they turn something asymmetrical to symmetry. Beautiful. Listen to this. Really good sound system. Really good sound system. But the Bowers and Wilkins sound system focuses on clarity over heavy bassy kind of